Letterkenny Music and Drama Group with Cider Park by Kieran Kelly. Cider Park, I'm just reading my notes. Kieran, are you listening? Yeah, you hear the meek voice. See, the last group row was still hovering. It's a very ambitious one-act play, I felt, crammed with ideas. So many ideas, plot twists, reveals. And I wrote here, you're going to love this, you'll be quoting this in the pub. More ideas than a Tom Stoppard play. Or it's one of the reasons people don't do George Bernard Shaw anymore, because they say, I just get a headache with all the ideas in these plays. But I'm going to say, I think that was handled very well here. So it deals with the nature of reality itself, memory, hope, second chances, redemption, big themes. So what is the challenge with all of this stuff? And you can see it by what I'm almost doing. It's balancing. It's trying to balance all this stuff so that it doesn't topple over and take you with it and drag you down the side of the mountain. So it's about achieving balance. And that's the question. Can we achieve balance with this? So Kieran Kelly, just a quick note on him. Beneath an Irish Sky in 2018, made it all the way to Athlone. His second full-length play, Dramateurs, which I'm sure a lot of you saw, was halted by COVID and eventually toured the circuit in 2022. Two of his plays, Jimmy's Winning Matches and Drumbo, have had professional productions. So it's a little bit about Kieran. So what do we receive? This is the first time tonight where a curtain opened. The others worked with an open space without the need for an actual formal opening. Curtain opens on chaos, debris, and a man famously with his back to us. In that beautiful posture. Okay? So it's what I would call, in technical terms, it's a kind of an in-between space, or a liminal space. It's somewhere that used to exist and won't exist next week. So it's in between the real world and the past and the future, and it's kind of a fantasy world. And we kind of just take this in. That becomes very important later on, I felt. So on tech items, which is one of our considerations, lighting and sound were by Owen McGill of Rita, and the stage manager was Tom Nealis. Shadowy, elegiac, memories, the atmosphere was there without being milked. All of these things were present for us. There was a lovely balance for me between light and shadow. They took a risk with being on the edge of being slightly dark and there being shadows, but I think the play demands shadows. So give that tech team a round of applause. And I felt he understood that it's a comedy, but with a big vein of melancholy running through it. Okay? And that's a polarity. That's a balance. That's a difficult thing. I felt Michael had great control of the elements here. And the clues as they start to arrive, that not all is as we think it is in this world, and that one of these characters has memories he shouldn't be having. It's a member in 98, and you're kind of going, hold on, look at how young he is. And the clues were beautifully introduced throughout and very gently placed. And I have to say as well that if we're doing, a lot of festivals do moment of theatre as an award. The moment where Richie was revealed, you were all so happy. So happy to see Richie. You didn't know who he was, but it made you very happy. Again, those simple theatrical elements that are so powerful. On to our actors. JP, played by Kieran Kelly, the author. Georgie, played by Andrew Tinney, and Richie, played by Cathal Gallagher. Again, my first note, looking at them more so than even reading it, was clowns. And they made the Beckett gag, you know, like Waiting for Godot. But there was a clown element to them. They're in this place which they'd like to leave, and they talk about leaving, but they don't really leave. And I felt they were a real ensemble. There were three instruments in this orchestra, and they were all really connected to each other and really listening to each other. And the build-up of the clues, they managed that very well. And you didn't care that it was a play about complex ideas because you were carried along with it. So give those actors a round of applause. I wrote here in the dark up there, your friends aren't real. Is that what he's really saying? That your friends aren't real. You invent your friends. So I felt it was a dazzling compression of ideas, information and commentary, but conveyed with lightness and ease. Now, my notes for private are very slight, but are there any ways to make some of the sleight of hand about the introduction of the big ideas and the reveal? Is there any way to be even cleverer or sharper about that? I was really interested in what happens to Georgie after he realizes he's a computer program, or how he receives the information when he's told and what it does to him. And I'm thinking perhaps maybe a little bit more detail there. Maybe he recovers from it remarkably well, but I have some questions about what happens to him from the time he receives it and sits over here and comes back into the action. And we can chat about that back there, and maybe there's a little bit more layering or detail to do. But that's my commentary for tonight. Give that wonderful team a round of applause.